name is Steve. Welcome back to my shop and Shark Bits number 7. In this episode of Shark Bits, primarily going to be things that I've received in the mail. I've got some viewer mail, I've got some purchases, I've got a couple of gifts here, and I've been accumulating this stuff since before I left for the Bar Z Summer Bash, so it seems like there's an awful lot here, but only a couple items each week have come in, but they've just started to accumulate. The first thing that I want to do is to give a shout out to Mike Wiggins from Backyard Machine Shop. I met him at the Bash. He also gave out Backyard Machine Shop t-shirts. And when I did my recap of the Bash, I forgot to mention it. So I'm wearing my Backyard Machine Shop shirt today, and I want to thank Mike Wiggins for that, and I'll leave a link to his site in the description. Also, Randy Richard obviously was at the Bash, and he gave out pins, and I forgot to mention that. And I have my pin, and I took a magnet, stuck a magnet on the back of it, and I have that up on one of my metal cabinets. I also purchased a shirt, Randy Richard in the Shop. As most of you know, Randy has been displaced by the fires in California, and although I ordered this prior to the fires, it's helping support Randy. So here is, I haven't even taken out of the package yet. Here's my Randy Richards RR in the Shop shirt. Now I'm going to take and move the camera so that we can see a little bit more detail on the rest of what I've got on my bench here. As a result of my visit to the Bar Z Bash, I met Jason from Fireball Tools, and he was running a promotion for to celebrate the Bash, and he had a free shipping. And even though I don't do a lot of fabrication, I do a few pieces here and there, I decided to take advantage of it, and I got the small size Mega Square, and I got it in aluminum, because I think that that'll be fine for anything that I'm going to be doing. And so when the opportunity arises, I'll pick up a second one. Also got a Fireball Tool sticker to add to my collection. When I first got my grinder, I got a message from one of my viewers. It's Vernon, the Mature Patriot, and he told me that he was going to send me some stones to grind, to experiment on, and it's absolutely something that I planned on doing with the grinder. And so I didn't hear anything for a while, and they sent me an email that said that they had gotten hung up. And so to make a long story short, I received a package in the mail one day from a vendor, and in it were 2 nice brand new Norton India stones. They're fine on one side, a little bit coarser on the other side. These are 1 by 2 by 6. And he told me that there would be a second package coming. And so a few days later, I received 2 more sets of stones. And these stones measure 3/4 thick by 2 inches wide by 5 inches long. I got 2 of them. And there were also 2 smaller ones, and these measure about 5/8 thick by 1 3/4 by 4. So when I got them all in the mail, I sent him an email, told him that I had them, thanked him very much, but I said, "What do you want me to do?" And he says, "They're yours, they're a gift, do whatever you want with them." And I'm thrilled. I think it's actually my first viewer mail giveaway, if you will, somebody that gave me something. So once I get all set up to grind the stones, I'm going to, of course, grind all 3 of these sets, and I'm going to send one of the sets back to Vernon. So give the Mature Patriot a shout out. And I'll leave a link to his channel. He's got a small channel. I'm going to leave a link to that in the description. So thank you, Vernon. As part of this whole project, in one of my earlier Shark Bits episodes, I showed where I'd gotten the diamond wheel for grinding the stones. And one of the big issues with the diamond wheels is the ability to true them up and to dress them. So I've been looking into it, and I've watched a couple of videos. I spoke to Steve Barton about it when we were at the Bar Z Bash, and he did a grinding demonstration. And then I also spoke to Stan Zinkowski, and he showed me a unit. More often than not, what's used is called a brake dresser, and a brake dresser has a wheel on it, and you actually run one wheel against the diamond wheel, and it has a brake built into it so it doesn't overspin. And Stan had put together a handheld version of that, and he showed me how it operated. And I'm going to be building one, but I'm also going to be looking to build a proper brake dresser. I've got some ideas on that. So I did order a stone in for the brake dresser, so that's going to be one of my future projects. And this is the stone that they call it crush dressing, and you actually put pressure on it, and you're actually breaking down the binder for the diamond stone, because you're not going to cut the diamonds, but you're breaking down the binder. And so that's the stone. And then the other thing you do to dress it is to use a soft dressing stick, and these are very soft. They're white dressing sticks, and I found these on eBay, and I got a package of them. I think there are 5. They're 1/2 by 4, and these are used to help to dress and true up the diamond wheel. So that's all coming in the not too distant future. I've got some work to do on that. You got to keep up with the Joneses, or Robin and Tom Lipton, and I got an assortment of diamond lapping compounds. Figured since I've got the grinder and I'm going to be doing some more precision work, I picked up an assortment of the diamond compounds. In order to build a couple of the projects that are coming up, I needed some bearings. I just got an order of bearings in from eBay. I've got 2 larger ones for a project that I've got in the works, and these actually measure 3/4 inch diameter shaft, and the outside is, it's probably actually a metric dimension. The outside's about 1.5 inches. And then I got these smaller bearings. A couple of these are going to be used for the dresser, and these are 1 1/8 outside, and they have a 1/2 inch hole. And I actually have a couple of projects in the works for them, so I ended up getting 10 of them. And they're shielded bearings. They look pretty decent. See how they hold up. I've been watching eBay and looking for some nice angle plates for setting up the milling machine and the grinder, and these came up. They're shop made. They are 2 inches wide. They're 1 inch thick material. The base is 3 inches and the height is 4 inches. And I say they're shop made, and they were screwed and pinned together. Very nice workmanship on them. I'm going to be checking them for square, and I'll, if necessary, you run them through the grinder to square them up. But in the meantime, I've got to do something about making a squareness comparator, because I really don't have anything specifically for that. So that's one of my projects, is to make a squareness comparator. So these very nice find. It was a make an offer. I made what I felt was a reasonable offer, and they accepted it. It was great. One of the other items that I got, I actually was going to build one of these. I have a piece of steel for a base, and I've got a piece of 3/4 inch high-speed steel ground, and I was going to make a height comparator, but I found this one listed on eBay. It's a granite plate. It's 6 by 6, and it's 2 inches thick. The upright on it is 1 inch, and it's got a nice fine adjust on it, and it came with a dial indicator. It didn't come with this dial indicator. It came with a 1,000th indicator with 1 inch travel, and I pulled that off of it, and I put one of my 1/10 indicators on there, because I'll be using this for some more precision type work. And looks pretty nice. Doesn't have any manufacturer marked on it or anything, but I think that that'll do a good job for me. And last but not least, got some material. One of my favorite materials to work with for tool work and so on is stress proof, and there's an eBay seller out there by the name of Pinkwrestler, and he sells all kinds of drops. You never know what he's going to have, so I check him out every once in a while. He's got a lot of cold rolled steel. He has structural steel. He'll have 4140. And this time around, he had some stress proof. So he's got a flat rate shipping. This is actually 2 separate auctions, and when I originally put the auction in, it doubled up the shipping. And a shout out to the Pinkwrestler. He gave me a refund for the double shipping. So this, which it probably weighs, between the two of these items, probably weighs close to 25 pounds or so, my mail person was loving me this week. And this is 1.25 inch stress proof. The pieces are about 9 inches long, and I'm going to be making an arbor for the grinding wheel balancer, and I think that this will be a great material for that. The other piece is, well, they're both 1.25 inch, and this one is about 7.5, 8 inches long. It was 2 for 1 price. And then this piece here, the monster, is 2 3/4 inches in diameter. It's about 7 inches long. And I thought I knew what I was going to use that for, but when I got it, I realized it's a lot bigger piece of steel than I thought it was. And so I'm going to have to rethink that project. I think I've got something else I can use, but that'll be a nice piece of material to put into inventory. It was very well packed, even though he sent it out in a priority mail envelope. It was wrapped. It was very well wrapped, and he actually mounted them on a board and strapped them to the board, and it had filament tape all around the end of it, and it came through in perfect condition. So a shout out to the Pinkwrestler. I don't know whether anybody has noticed it, how observant you have been, and I'm going to move the camera again to show you. But I've run into a little bit of a problem with my surface grinder. This was a benchtop grinder, so it came without a base, and I ordered a base for it. It was from Home Depot, and it's a tool cart that's 22 inches deep, and it has a rating of 1,400 pounds, which all sounds good until I mounted the grinder on top of it. Now let's go take a look at it. I don't know whether you can see this or not, but the front edge, of course, there's a fold in the sheet metal, so that's nice and rigid, and the front edge is very well supported. But if you look carefully, you'll see that this thing is sinking in the back because the weight of the unit is pushing down right in the middle of the top where there's no support. So I've got to reinforce the top of this thing to get it squared back up, and then once I do, I'm going to put the grinder in its permanent home, and then I will take and true up the mag chuck again. So my plan of action, I picked up a piece of channel iron, good and rigid, and I'm going to cut it the width of the cabinet, and I'm going to push it up from underneath, up underneath the mounting bolts, and jack it up until the grinder is perpendicular again, and then I'm going to extend it all the way out to the edges where of course there's support here with this seam, and I'm going to put a couple of straps. I'll cut these off about 6-8 inches long, like big flat washers if you will, to lay on the top, and the bolts will go through that and hold this up to the rigid part of the top. And I think that will take care of the problem. Yeah, the inside dimension is 26.5 inches. I'm pretty happy with that. It pulled up. I put the jack under it, jacked it up a little bit, and then when I tightened up the bolts, it pulled up even further. So it looks pretty decent square now. It should hold. I don't mind telling you, that was a hot job. I'm going to have to break down and hook up my air conditioner in here if I'm going to do any more jobs like that. But that wraps up this edition of Shark Bits. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up, and I want to thank all my subscribers, and particularly all my new subscribers. Just great. Leave a comment and share the video if you like. Until next time, see ya.